have a very messed up culture that comes to create babies with thieves, that comes to create babies with refugees, and make all kinds of crazy analogies. India says they will not take them out. What we get from the devil's prime minister is a more insane examples of the principle that the prime minister teaches. I'm still going to try to adjust that or those principles in my speech. First, they say that the babies aren't going to die. We say that it is for the spirit of emotion. We think that they will. The emotion has to assume that they will. But even if these babies don't die, we think it's even more problematic to have people more people coming to donate their sperm cells, and then we keep having babies and babies and babies and babies and babies and babies. They assume that all governments will have the resources to ensure that these babies are given all they need and like for care, these babies particularly have what they need to survive in society. But then he then says that the life of a child that has parental care is more valuable than the life of a child who doesn't have parental care. So one thing is key, that the babies who are going to be devoid of that moral care of parents. So by their logic, then those babies are like less human than the babies who actually have parental care, since people are just going to come and donate their semen for the government to use. So by any logic, don't think that their arguments make sense. And then even if you want to talk about certainty versus uncertainty, there's one certainty here, that if we do not do anything to these babies, that they're going to live and have, there's a higher possibility that they're going to live and have their lives. But then when you come to carry out whatever I want to do, there's a great uncertainty that they're going to live. And there's a great uncertainty that whatever innovation, the scientific innovation you want to achieve is going to be risked. So it's a case where there's certainty of life, there's an uncertainty of life. So by any yardstick, this argument is one that falls. Then Prime Minister comes to say, oh, this isn't something that you are proud of, but it's something you have to do. It sounds like when a criminal, an armed robber, goes to steal, and then he comes back with his family and says, this isn't something that I'm proud to do, but something I have to do. We think that our society has moral limits, and we can't just say simply because there's an end, simply because I'm going to be rich by stealing, I should go and steal, maybe it's something I'm not proud to do. We think very crucially that we should stick to morality. I'm going to be showing you why morality is key to this debate and how morality isn't intertwined with whatever outcomes will ensue from whatever activities we carry out in our societies. Then, this guy then says everything in society is a risk, hence we should take the risk in this particular instance. Then he says that Ben Carson had to take the risk, had to act in a particular way to save those children. Why is this instance particularly different? We say, firstly, Ben Carson tried to save the twins. He didn't try to kill those twins to save other people. Secondly, we say in that instance, this is very crucial, that was the only way by which those people were going to survive. Kumbi analyzes to you how there are alternatives in the status quo and how we should stick to those alternatives, and how this isn't particularly dire, so we can say that in this instance, this is the only way by which humanity is going to be saved. In Ben Carson's way, that was the only way that these children were going to survive, and that was why that risk was particularly taken. We don't think that human life should be risked in this particularly denigrating way. Then he then says, we then give an analogy about how they consider it to be morally bankrupt to kill a 3-year-old child, to donate a 3-year-old child for this particular innovation. But then he says a 3-year-old child has parental care. What if that 3-year-old child is an orphan in this particular instance? Is he going to support the principle? But very crucially, we think from Okom that your worth as an individual is not intertwined to your parents' life, to the validity of people in society. You should not measure people's worth as human beings. You shouldn't say before people can be qualified to be human beings, can be qualified to have any particular moral value, they must be loved by people. That is why in our society, we do not kill orphans. We just allow them to have life, because we understand that even if their parents do not exist, even if they do not have any parental care, insofar as they are humans and they have life, they are moral agents and they are independent of whatever crazy considerations your society have. Then he says that babies cannot choose. Hence, in this instance, since babies cannot choose, it is right for us to ask. Then why do we punish parents when they kill their children? Because their children do not choose to have life in that particular instance. So there's a limit to everything, and everything that we get from these guys it's very messed up. Now, to our case, we analyze to you how it is crucial for society to have moral limits. We think from that fetuses are moral agents insofar as they have life, that they have agency, and they shouldn't be used as a means to an end, because they are a means in themselves insofar as they are moral agents. We don't think that you should use them as a means to an end for whatever reason that you have. We think that the morality of every act is not just in the utility of the act, but in the act in and of itself. So ask yourself in today's debate, is it right to kill a child for any reason? Is it right for us to kill a child? Maybe you can say, if that child is going to die anyways, and the child is suffering, we have to kill him. But that you can't particularly justify killing a child. So the question in this debate, morally, is that particularly right? Whether or not there are outcomes, forget about the outcomes, think about the act in itself. Is that particularly right? I'll take it.
Okay, I'll take it. When you lose your position in the society, you lose your right to master use. This baby's to be loses their right to life when the principal makeup are forgotten in the freezer and treated like they don't exist.
You lose, see, I don't get that pure, but I don't think you lose your right to life for any reason, like for every reason, you don't lose your right to life. Every individual has a right to life, and whether you freeze whatever, you don't think that you lose that right to life at any point in time, because you are a moral agent. The only time where you lose your right to life is when you live in a state and you agree that the state binds you and some principles bind you, and when you violate those principles, then the state can take your life because you agree that if you violate those principles, that the state can take your life. Not any consideration that these guys give to us. We think that the act is fundamentally immoral. The act of killing a child is bad, even if it leads to good outcomes, and that is what should be the consideration in today's debate. We think that life at all stages is life, and even if it's life of a 3-year-old, even if it's life of a fetus, it is still something that is particularly life. We think that agency is symmetric. Agency is not something that is premised on whether or not you have lived a longer life. The agency is based on the fact that you have life, and that is the consideration that we give. Kumbi analyzed how there are viable alternatives, but very crucially, is there a particular utilitarian value to this? We think this with the premise that there's any utilitarian value to this, because we are saving one life for one life. It's a direct swap. We are having saving one life for 2, 3, 4, 5 lives. We are having a direct swap in this particular instance. So by the principle of utilitarianism, there is no particular value to this, because it is a direct swap, 1 for 1, not 1 for 10 in that particular regard. I think that the fact that you place more value on one life over another life, because not one life over 10 lives, the fact that you place one life, the value of one life over another life is very problematic, because it's a narrative that favors richer, smarter people in society, because they're the ones that have more societal capital. And we think that poor people are going to be particularly skewed by policy, because inequality is entrenched, since only rich people can afford this, and inequality is still entrenched, since only poor people will opt in to give me their stem cells. We win today's debate from opening opposition.